The reason why the internet is kind of boring now is too many people are using this as a place to get legitimate life advice. And that's just not what it's built for. Like, I've been on the internet since like the mid 90s, which was like the beginning of consumer internet for like regular people. It's hard to explain to younger people, but the internet used to feel different, not just in terms of social networks and browsers or whatever, but there used to just be a tone to it, which was much lighter and much more fun and playful. And I would argue more interesting. It wasn't always this heavy. I mean, the internet was designed to be a place for experimentation and curiosity, not a place to get answers to life's big questions. I mean, I think our peak in terms of having a healthy relationship to the internet really was back when people used to share a computer. Because that's the other thing that people don't necessarily understand, younger people these days, is that the whole family used to share a computer. So if you wanted to get on the internet, you just logged on for a little while, you poked around and saw what you saw, and then it was someone else's turn. And you stepped away and went back into the regular world. We didn't even really think about it at the time, but that really was creating a healthy boundary between regular life and internet life. Now, because we're all online all the time, we're basically online by default. Now, the internet becomes a place of validation. It becomes a place where you ask important questions and get guidance for some reason. So now everybody online is asking some variation of the same question, which is it okay? Is it okay to go to Coachella by myself? Oh, is it okay to not get alcohol at a bar? Uh, can I move to Chicago? And it's like the reason why the internet is boring now is because all of those questions have the same answer, which is do whatever you want. Why are you asking me? That's up to you. Yeah, yes or no. I mean, that is something you have to figure out. But for some reason, you thought to outsource this question to everybody, and it's not interesting. What's funny is that, I mean, the mental health conversation started online about maybe 10 years ago. People start telling each other to see a therapist and, evangelizing therapy as a way to sort out your mental problems, which is fine. But at that same time, people started using social media itself as therapy and just asking big questions to strangers. So, on the one hand, you're telling people to seek professional advice and, real guidance from somebody with experience and expertise, while also just throwing it out there to everybody. Everybody who clearly doesn't have your best interest in mind, everybody who is also probably struggling with these problems and hasn't figured out a good answer to them because they're just regular people trying to have fun online. The problem is that it feels harmless and kind of like wholesome to ask for advice, but there is a cost. Every time you ask for permission, you lose a little bit of confidence. You lose a little bit of intuition. And those are the things that lead to creativity, that lead to insight. And when those things are gone, they are very hard to get back. There are people online right now, guys in their 50s, asking if it's okay to play guitar. And that is tragic. But that's what happens when you get used to asking instead of just doing. It sounds harsh. I'm sure this comes across as like, I don't know, macho or something. But like back in the day, guys used to like punch each other in the chest for asking these things. If somebody punches you in the face, that means it's time to fight. If somebody punches you in the chest, that means they're telling you have some confidence. Figure it out. Stop complaining. Because I mean, look, you think you're asking for advice, but what you're really asking for is certainty. You're afraid to find out, so you're trying to skip to the end. And it's like life does not provide certainty. You have to just try and figure it out along the way. But once you start outsourcing these questions to the internet, you lose that map. You lose your ability to figure out things for yourself. People love asking old people on the internet, what's something you wish you would have known? That question comes up all the time in these like kind of clickbaity TikTok videos. Oh, what's something you wish you would have known? What's something you regret that you didn't know before? And it's like the problem with this question is it assumes that their regret is something you can learn from. That if you find out what somebody else did wrong, you can skip that and you'll just glide on to the next part of life. But that's not how life works. Regret does not scale. It is personal. The more you're learning from these other people's, weird advice, the less you're actually figuring out how to see things yourself, and the less prepared you will be for when things actually happen. This is especially tragic for creative types. If you're the type of person who wants to make new things and express yourself, this is the worst kind of mentality to get into because then you're never really looking inside. You're always grasping around. And that's where the internet really went wrong, especially with social media, is people started thinking about things in terms of relatability. That became the new goal for people. Instead of creativity or experimentation, now it's how can I be relatable? What's a button I can press that is going to, turn on a light bulb in someone else's head and think, oh, yeah, that's me too. And then you end up with this very bullshit lowest common denominator content about being, oh, any millennials out there, you guys remember dial-up internet? Yeah, that was crazy. And it's like, that's a setup to a joke or something, but it's not a punchline. That's not an actual idea. All you're doing is presenting something that someone else also knows, and it's boring. You can't be relatable and original at the same time because the thing that makes you original is unique. It's just for you. People confuse relatability with insight. Relatability is just telling somebody something that they already know. Insight means showing them something they think they know, but showing it from a different angle. That's being interesting because that means you're actually presenting something that you saw and that you're hoping they get to see now too. And that's what the internet is supposed to be for. That's why we have all of these tools and we can do anything with them. But for some reason, we all end up getting trapped in this idea that we have to be understood rather than simply being ourselves. I mean, if you're ever wondering, is it okay to do something? Modern society has a very useful concept. It's called criminal law. Don't do any of that. Besides that, though, you should just do whatever you want. It's your life.